As black people who were born here, we can't walk down the street and just be free lots of times. And definitely don't be caught without an ID. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not allowed to do that. But all these other nationalities and races and people can come and, they get the houses, they get the jobs, they get the Medicaid, they get all of these things. And then we're sitting here like, give them people a chance. Hey, I'm not for it or against it, but if you want to come, just come the correct way. Then, we got our people rallying for those that are in the confinement camps being held, but it's like, they still chose to come. They were told.
What about the ones that's in prison? Those are confinement camps.
Right, true.
I have a motto. If they can't use my comb, leave them alone.
Facts.
So
if you ain't
a part of the black diaspora, I bet on everything black. That's
so we got handkerchief head Negro, and if you can't use my comb, leave them alone.
Facts.
With that being said, and I want to ask your thoughts on it, and I want to ask your thoughts on it. What's your thoughts on segregation today?
Well, Elijah Muhammad said that segregation is more powerful and more important than prayer. And I think that we have to separate from those that continuously, for over 400 years, that we have experienced in America, that we know who our open enemy is, and we have to separate from them.
Yes.
I think that's the only solution.
So you're for it?
I'm for it, yes.
Ginger, what up? What's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm already with
Break
that.
Break it down. Give me some juice.
Well, for me, I definitely believe that integration killed our communities. It killed our culture. When we integrated, we began to take on, even though prior to that, I believe Christianity plays a lot of role in why our people think the way they think and do the things they do.
Right.
And that was, we already know where that stemmed from. That wasn't our people that came up with Christianity. That was the other people that came up, with their form of Christianity and Catholicism and sun worship and all that stuff. I think we've allowed that to manipulate our minds for so long that instead of us realizing the importance of sticking with our own people, learning and teaching our own children, buying and supporting our own people financially, we begin to feel like their way was the correct way. And that has done nothing but harm. That's why we're in the situations that we're in today, when we depend on their money, their dollar. If we would have remained segregated during that time back then, I believe it would have been well off. I'm not saying that Black Wall Street would not have happened. I'm not saying a lot of those things would not have happened, but we could have had our own government by now, because we are our own nation. We are our own nation here in this country.
So with that, because I was watching something with Yellow Knight, Trigger Warning, and towards the end, he bought some land. I believe they call it New Africa.
Okay.
And he bought some land, and I think they did some kind of paperwork where they became their own nation, their own country, or own something.
Okay, he probably did sovereignty or some form?
Well, what it was like a mock government, a mock trial. It wasn't nothing that, the government would have recognized.
Okay.
It was like a mock thing of what would happen if we had our own land, if we have our own governing body and we make our own decisions.
Yes.
But even still so with that, he made it inclusive of everybody, LBGT and white people and this, that, and the other. So
it still was pointless. And they call it New Africa.
No, and that wouldn't be New Africa.
And they had
that wouldn't be New Africa.
They had the Neanderthals there, the Grecos.
Yeah. So my take on segregation is, for me, it's a great area. Would I try it out? Yes, definitely. Do I have my ways kind of like, am I hesitant to it? Yes, definitely, because I was born in a desegregated world. You know what I mean? But am I open-minded to say, let's try it, let's see if this works, and if it works for us, let's enforce it and get the hell on with our own lives and let us do what we do? All for it. I think if we went back to segregation, we will be fighting a bigger battle, because how would you split it up? If you was to paint how we ran, say right now, Atlanta, Georgia, how would we function in a segregated state of Georgia?
Let me tell you, right?
Break it down.
A lot of people don't even realize that we living in a segregated society. Me, I live right here in the Southwest Atlanta, right?
Okay.
All the businesses that's in my neighborhood or on my block are black owned, and I know each and every one of them. You know, I did a comprehensive study of my income, right?
Okay.
Like 65% of my income goes to all black businesses.
Oh, that's
You know what I mean?
dope.
When
That's
I'm buying clothes, even the car insurance, I'm with Allstate, but my agent is black.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I want to say 65 to 70% of my money is spent in the black community. Everybody
That's dope.
around me is black, you know what I mean? So the doctors, my lawyer, and different people that I interact with in society. So I know what it is, you know what I mean, to be exclusively around black people, to deal with your own black people. So I think when people don't have a grasp of that,
Okay.
you know, it's far-fetched, you know. How could we have our own black government? You know, listen, we got black Congress leaders. You know, we have a black police. We
Yeah.
have a black fire chief. You know, Atlanta should be the litmus test of what a black society
Would
could
look
look
like,
like
yes.
if we run our own.
That's right.
But, you know, we have more black congressional leaders than any time ever in history. But it's almost like,
They don't even acknowledge the problems that we deal with.
it's almost like they become a part of the oligarchs and the Negroes is running the plantation. You know what I mean? So we have to get those out of there, them out of there, and we have to put like-minded individuals in position of power.
Now, knowing the game of politics, knowing how politics is ran, how easy or how hard is it to put like-minded individuals in the position of power to enforce the change?
It's not hard, you know, because if you look, like I said, we have more black people in leadership position and in politics than any time before. But I think the problem is that once they become involved in politics,
Right.
they start to take
Change.
the dirty money.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? They start to change.
They greedy.
They forget about those that put them in position of power. And I think what we have to do is we have to make it where an individual that when we put them in there and we put our money behind them, see that's another thing. Once they're in a position of power, they have to be, you know, election comes up.
Right.
And then this is when you have these big money corporations that start sponsoring and paying for their re-election. If we don't come to them as a body of people with money and say, this is our issue, this is the black agenda, and this is the money we giving you as a whole for your, you know, your re-campaign,
Right.
then they're not going to
Ain't
do
nothing to talk
anything in our best interest. So we have to put our money where our mouth is if we want to do what we want to do. And then we have to come up with a system that's bulletproof where if they don't, you know, if they go against what we want, then we can vote them out.
We remove them from that place.
Well, for me, I just think that we need to withdraw from this government altogether, because we can have as many black people infiltrate, because I do believe in infiltration. We have to infiltrate a lot of things, but I feel like when it comes to the government, because it's so embedded, you know, how deep this stuff goes, and there's so many other layers to this government outside of what we see and what we know. Regardless, we can have all black people in there. It's still controlled by those folks. So for me, complete segregation would be the key, meaning get those key people together, find your land, find your groups of community, because I can't commune with every type of black person, you know what I'm saying? So if we get these communities going and we create our own governments,
Right.
and have the one government as a body and function that way, I think that will be the beginning of a new era far as our people, in my opinion.
With the word infiltration, before we get to our midday meltdown, Jay-Z stands on the NFL. What's your take?
Oh,
Give that deep breath. That's two of them.
He rubbed his
That's two of them. That's two of them.
I think what Jay-Z did, he was blindsided, right? I think that he went into that press conference not fully prepared and he dropped the ball. Because when you're saying we're past protesting, no, we're not. You know what I mean? And for someone that never kneeled, that never really protest, you know, you don't have a right to say that.
Okay.
I think it was disingenuous of him not to actually have that conversation with Kaepernick.
Now, they have said before this conference, him and Cap had a conversation, and afterwards, him and Cap has had a conversation.
His girlfriend said that there was never a conversation.
Okay.
You ever read her post?
Yeah.
She said there was never a conversation. And I think that's a part, that's a problem. But what I will say is, all right, it happened. How do we move forward? I think that we ain't got no choice but to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he's already in negotiation. He's already there. And if he doesn't do the right thing, then he needs to be held accountable.
Facts.
But once again, I am skeptical of him because of the deal with the Barclays Center, where a lot of black people was displaced, and they used him as a mascot, and they used him as a tool and also a slave.
Is that what we call the handkerchief?
Yeah. And that's pretty much what happened,
Gotcha.
And then we come to find out that he owned 0.0096%, you know what I mean? He didn't even own 1%. Come on.
Of the Barclays Center?
Yeah. And then he wound up selling his interest afterwards. And now they have something, right? I want y'all to go online and look at this. It's called the Jay-Z rule, right?
Okay.
Because you can't just sell your interest to anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think they got a thing where they call the Jay-Z rule, where you have to buy a certain amount of percentage in order to be considered the owner.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because remember, everybody was like, he's an owner of the Nets. He was never an owner. You know what I mean? He was no different than if me and you would have invested in stock. So, they look online about, they got a thing called the Jay-Z rule right after that, where you have to own a certain amount of stock,
Percentage. Consider the owner.
The percent of the owner, and they have to vet who you sell your stocks to. And they have to have a certain income level.
They still control.
They still control. That's my point. They still control, no matter what.
That's the thing about it. A lot of people don't know that even Donald Trump, he tried to buy, it was called the United Football Association or something like that. And they wound up going bankrupt, and they sued the NFL for violating the monopoly clause. And they got a whole bunch of, like 167 million, but it wasn't enough money to save them. So the NFL, they'll push you out. And the thing about it is, they didn't let him buy a team, and he had the money. And the thing about it is, they have to vet the owners. And if you're not a part of the good old white boy network, you're not going to be an owner.
Now, before we get out of here, I want you to give up the details on elementary genocide again.
All right, elementary genocide, school to prison pipeline, that's part 1. Elementary genocide 2, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration, part 2. And elementary genocide 3, academic holocaust, you can get that on the website, elementarygenocide.com. You also can get it on Amazon. And if you want to stream it, there's a black sister. She got quality TV. It's the Black Netflix. Make sure y'all go out there, y'all support it. You can stream this, you can stream Hidden Colors and a lot of other movies that will raise the vibrational pitch of our people and bring you into consciousness.
How can everybody get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me if I'm not suspended on Facebook at Rahiem Shabazz, Instagram at Rahiem Shabazz, and I just started a new Instagram page. Instead of at Rahiem Shabazz, it's Rahiem.Shabazz. So it's at Rahiem.Shabazz.
Okay.
And I'm pretty accessible, man. I'm right here. I'm in Atlanta.
And I want to do something with you. You said the neighborhood that you live in, the block is pretty much black. I want to pick a day, maybe the next couple of weeks, we walk that block, because this is stuff that I want my listeners, my followers, and my people to understand. Whether it's a black pharmacy, whether it's black grocery store, black doctors, is because people don't know.
Right, that's true.
And I want to be able to give this information out. And alongside, when we joke, we giggle, we have fun, we talk music, we talk entertainment. But the main course of my platform is to inform, to educate. So when individuals such as yourself come in and say, hey, I live here and this is around my area, whatever that need be, is to be able to introduce me to some of those individuals or some of these black businesses that also need a platform so more black folks can shop and support.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? So I definitely want to be able to do that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with BET? They had a series called Finding Justice.
No, but I'm actually on a new series which is called Cop Watchers on BET. It's called The Fight for Social Justice.
Oh, okay. Well, this
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, this series was produced by Dream Hampton and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
And I was a part of that.
Okay.
I was in the voter suppression episode. I think that was the 3rd episode. But anyway, I say all that to say, I took them to Wadada Food Market.
Okay.
I took them to Action Culture. I took them to the Good Hair Shop. And these are all, you know, within my geographical location, Black owned. And
I would love to do that.
We filmed. I took them to Mama D's. You know, so wherever you want to go, you know, I'm in the neighborhood. Everybody know me. You want to go to Slutty Vegan? We can go there. You know, anything that's in the West End area.
There go my deep.
Somebody don't like Slutty Vegan.
Is Mama D's soul food?
Mama D's is soul food,
I
and
wanna
then
go
you
there.
also got greens and gravy. That's right down. That's soul food.
I want to go there
We can
too.
go to Beautiful. We can go to there's a lot of soul
Let's
food
fix that.
places.
I wanna
It's
go to
not
all
the
the
fact.
soul food
I don't. It's not.
places.
Let's not say. It's not the fact that I don't like Slutty Vegan.
Yeah.
I feel like the geological location where they're located and the neighborhoods that they're in, they should make it where it's a little bit more affordable so we can get healthier, so we can support. When you got a burger that's $15, how often do you think that, like right here, we have Slutty Vegan right around the corner from MLK.
Mm-hmm.
The average income for that area is maybe $30K. Like, how,
Well, I don't know about that, right? Like on one side maybe, but if you go back a little bit down,
It's a little bit more
that
expensive.
Cascade area, that's where that rich black money's at, that old money.
But still, how do you want to embrace a culture and live to embrace a healthier lifestyle
Well-
when they're faced with an Impossible
can't
Whopper
afford
for
it.
$1.99 now?
Right.
Not saying that we shouldn't pay for quality,
Yeah.
but $15 for a
But-
burger
but
is
listen,
heavy for our community.
That line be around the corner.
So is that helping or hurting?
No, it just goes to show you that people will pay for what they want. You know, we pay for
But I don't think. Do you
what
really
we
think?
need.
Do you
We
really
don't pay for what we need. We pay for what we want.
Do you
right?
really think
No.
we're paying for what we want, or are we paying for the social media hype behind it?
Oh yeah, it's a combination of both.
Okay.
It's a combination of both. It's definitely the social media hype behind it because let me tell you something. I live in close proximity, right?
Uh-huh.
I ain't never waiting that line, and I got 3 burgers, and it was because someone else brought them to me. I'm not waiting in line like that.
Yeah, that's. I did it one
I'm not
time.
doing that.
I did it for the support factor. I did it. You know, we went live. You know, the whole social media shebang. But I said now, like, unless like my Tiff called, say, hey, I'm going to go get try to. You know, they got the new chicken sandwich called Chicken Head today, and I was like, all right, well, if this line ain't long, they'll grab me one. But I'm not going with you. Like,
I'm not. I wouldn't do it for Air Jordans. I ain't
yeah, I ain't
doing it for
never
the
do
iPhone.
it. Yeah.
And I'm a chef, so I cook my own vegan burger. How about
Yeah,
that?
I've just settled for the soul food. So whenever we can, I would love for us to go to Mama D's, the greens and gravy with
Yeah,
all of that.
facts.
Yeah, I want all of that.
I appreciate you coming in today, Mr.
I
Rahiem
appreciate y'all for
Shabazz.
having me.
We're gonna
I
have you
hope-
back. We're gonna have you
Yeah.
back, definitely.
All right.
Great conversation.
Absolutely.
Hit 92.3. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's 12 o'clock. Was 11:59. 1 minute before we had a midday meltdown.
Yes.
DJ Dash comes in the building, and you
Sweet.
know how we do it. If you're at work and you want to kind of enjoy this midday meltdown,
Yes.
go holler at your boss, like, yo, we got to turn this up. Or you just say, hey, I want to take my lunch early because we give y'all 30 minutes of straight energy. What up?
And if they have not liked the Facebook page or followed it, we need you to like Hits 92.3 right
Boom.
now. Tell a friend, share a friend, because we can all be friends right here on Hits 92.3.
DJ Dash, Fleet DJs Jordan. Lord Jesus. Fleet DJs Jordan. Say that real fast.
Fleet DJs Jordan. Let's go.
Hits 92.3. Live City Show. We'll be back.